Every PM talks about strategy, but when it comes to execution, that just fails apart. Strategy is what and why, and then execution is like how you actually do it. Some people just get lost in slides, Jira tickets, and whatnot. Today I am going to break this down into three simple examples that you can follow, and then I am also going to give you two frameworks that you can apply to your PRD and then your product. So stay tuned because I am going to share real examples of Amazon and other companies, how they did it, and then also the framework. Strategy is what and why about the product. What are you going to build and why are you going to build it? It needs to answer the why very perfectly, right? Because that is how you're going to lay out your strategy plan. Execution is more about how. How are you going to make that happen? Let's take a simple example of a trip, right? So, right now, I am planning to go to India for Diwali, and uh, every time I go to India, I have to meet many people and I have to make sure I visit my partner's family, I visit my family, or if there's time, I also need to make sure that I go some places in India because India is beautiful and I want to go there, right? So I need to book tickets, I need to do all those things. But before that, I need to plan the days, I need to plan my leaves, I need to plan when I will be working from home, when I will be able to meet people. So, all these things are strategy. For strategy, I can also make a slide deck or a roadmap plan. But when it comes to execution, things might go as planned, but it doesn't always. Execution is about like when we are actually in the work, right? Like when I'm actually in my trip and I'm in India and I'm like, oh God, today I'm so tired and I don't want to go anywhere. And that is just like me saying that I don't want to execute on the plan that I decided, right? So that's why like strategy and execution are two different things, but they are important. I feel like these two goes hand in hand because if you just do strategy, then there's no product. There's nothing coming out of it. You just have slide decks and you just have Jira tickets and there's nothing. And if you just start with execution, then there's a total chaos, right? You don't know what you're going to do next. You don't know what you have been doing till now. And you don't know the end goal, what you want to achieve, what is the value that you want to create. So let's talk about framework number one that I use in my work oftenly. I call it loop framework because you first start with strategy, then you talk to your developers, go on to the execution, and then you have some learnings, and then you adjust your strategy accordingly for the next phase, and then you again go for the execution, learnings, and then you have results. Um, this way, you are learning new things and you can adjust for your new features. It doesn't need to be a very big feature, big project for you to execute this. You can just do it for a small project, like mini project, so that you can just test it fast, and then if you fail, you can learn from it, right? So, for example, you can take uh, anything like a bug, like PMs are asked to prioritize a bug. You started with the bug, you defined what that bug is, how many customers are impacted, you have written everything down. Now is the time for the execution. Maybe the developer is going to take 1 or 2 day, one sprint to execute it. Just see what were your learnings were. What are the things that you might have made clear in the strategy that would have made the development faster, execution faster. So just make those changes in your loop framework to execute the whole strategy execution thing, right? uh, let's take some examples now because I feel like without any real examples how we know how to do it. Um, Netflix originals. Their strategy was to compete with the traditional studios by investing in real content and original content. When Netflix, like 2 3 years back, it was going down, their stock was going down. We were like, Netflix, I don't know if they are going to stay in the industry or not. They changed their pricing a lot. They changed the pricing to, I think, $11.99 or something, and then now they ask for like $17.99 for 2 accounts. um, but at that time there was a lot of dilemma about what strategy they are taking. They also wanted to go in the route of like adding ads, but that is totally against what Netflix has been doing, right? Like Netflix gives us that total focus, Netflix chill and vibe. You don't stop for any ads. That's for Amazon Prime. But that was their strategy, that how they want to compete with the other creators. There are Bollywood creators, there are Hollywood creators, there are original film creators. So Netflix came up with this Netflix original, and they started looking at the what customers has been watching with all their data, and then they started sponsoring those type of videos, movies. And now Netflix nailed the balance, like clear North Star plus strong execution machine, right? Like we all are again hooked to Netflix. Like I don't know if any person is not using Netflix at all. We all love Netflix stuff. Like even Kapil Sharma, right? Like it was in Sony, it was in Stars, and then now it is in Netflix. Like getting the audience information and also going behind those content creator and getting them on their platform. So that was the strategy took by Netflix. So let's take a second example. It's a failure example of Google. Google started with a social networking website. They wanted to compete with Facebook. They introduced many things. They started with Orkut. We all know 90s kids might have used it. Orkut. It was famous, popular for some time, but it died when Facebook came. Then they started with Google Buzz, Hangouts. I used Hangouts for some time, it was easy. And then they converted Hangouts to Google Plus, which was confusing, right? Like, why would they do it so many times? So, their strategy was confusing. It was not clear. They knew that they wanted to compete with social media platform, but they didn't have a strategy of like what this platform is and then why they wanted. The execution was simple because they executed on all those products and it was available to the customer. But the whole thing lacked proper UI, proper marketing, and there was no clear distinction of to the user, like why they are using Hangout versus what else they should be using for the social media platform. So lesson learned for Google over here is a execution, like proper execution doesn't mean there is a proper strategy, right? Like it could be just improper strategy, poor strategy, and then you still have good execution, but that is not going to gain customers for you. So now this gets us into the second framework that I use a lot with my leadership is the OKR framework, which is objective and key result. Objective could be you want to increase the adoption of the customer, and the key result could be adoption is increased by 5% in 1 month or in a quarter. So that is how I do other of my PRDs where I can tie the OKR properly. Let's take another example now. I promise this is last example of Amazon. So Amazon strategy was start with simple, right? They started with books. They wanted to make sure that books are available to the customer. Then they started to make the shipping faster. Earlier, they were doing like long weeks, long days of shipping, number of days of shipping. But then they said, we want to promise your things will get delivered by 2 days if you join Prime. So Prime was the catch over here. People who wanted to have things delivered to them in 2 days, otherwise they will return the money for what they ordered, they jumped onto the wagon. They started paying for the Prime. And the Prime is not just like a 1 month subscription. You pay for the whole year subscription, right? Because that's make it easy, and then it's less on your pocket. So now Prime members or the Amazon team started getting money from the customers who are already using the Prime. And that way, they also promised for like 1 day delivery, 24 hours delivery, and then like if you don't get the delivery, we'll return you the money. So now they have all of these customers who were earlier using Google to search for products. Now they use Amazon directly to search for their products. Their strategy was clear, their execution was clear. Now everybody, almost everybody, uses Prime because it's not just offers you this 2 day delivery or 1 day delivery, it also makes sure that you can return your product for free. There are other benefits, and then you also get the Amazon Prime Video for free, right? Like you can watch content. So why not? This is so attractive for any customer. They were successful in their whole strategy execution a thing, and they used, their objective was clear, their key result is clear. So that is how you want to make sure when you are writing your strategy and then working on the execution, you don't forget about like what you decided and what you're doing now. You always want to go back to the strategy and then where you started, what is the value that you want to create, and then how the execution is working towards it. And if it is not clear, it's time to ask more questions to the leadership, to your product manager for the strategy. Follow more for all these product management advice. For now, bye.